So, 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 I've named this talk Poesis and Santa Claus. Because it's important for me to think clearly about what I said directly after now. So we'll see where that goes from now and from here. Because I've never recorded ever before. And this is actually my first talk. So it's great to have myself think of the audience and who should it be. Wow. So we piggyback. It's a beautiful, tumbling, and imagery. That is why. Do not be scared. Let the poetry ramble. Do not be afraid of the eschatological narrative. The script of Logos is false. Why it is mere a plaything for the creation of drama on a stage, in a setting, on a place as real as you can imagine. So, gather up things to talk about. You know how you go out, you see people, you see your friends, you need something to talk about. Gathering this information is one of the best hobbies of any person. This keeps the mind healthy. The mining of information. Now, there are some miners. Let's say you have a tunnel. And some parts of the tunnel are off limits. You threaten the structure. And so when you're a big bulldozer, I don't know why I just thought Jordan Peterson, but because I listened to something else and I'm stealing something else. So when you have a bulldozer going through the tunnel or cave, you want to keep it up. Interesting. Turn ideas into 3D layouts. You understand how flat some conversations are. There's a grand show happening, and it's always people who criticize. So, find it fun to fool. Take the drama to them. Channel the fire. But save it for yourself. Love what you have to say. Sometimes it can kind of seem like an ass for doing that. However, it's important to say what you think in the way that you think it. This is why it's so hard to speak in public school, in private school. The way that people expect you to think is all wrong. Because they are not willing to bend far enough. To have the conversation long enough of things that could be mashed around. It's because they are on guard. And they fill it with mush. Maybe there's some more practical things to do than bind ideas. That might have been the case. However, there is a moment now, and who wants to be filled with other competition of gem gatherers, Turtons, if you will, the gem gatherers. That's your role. So play. Break the bounds of acceptable speech. That is the constraint you face. And it is nothing but imaginary. Well, maybe it has consequence. Yes. But be aware that you should not submit because you love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, why are you worthy of love? But I know that you are, so I hold back that whole clutch or statement. Have the happy will. Also, don't be afraid of other people who have the same. That. They are good enough, trust me. It's good enough. Tie the knots to the sailboat. If you're sailing, better to choose one knot. I bet you could sail with one knot, even though that I've never sailed. Probably need a few. But if you know one or two, maybe you'll go somewhere. And somewhere is better than nowhere. Making errors. Do it in calm waters. Make many in calm waters. Make many errors. But seek towards not errors. The ship is yours. Sail where you wish. Find in the ocean what is which. Now the ocean has gathered its loot from our creation, its bounty. We have filled the world with our things. Just like that. Poetry. Terence McKenna has a great piece on this. The DMT elves. I think this will demolish the the seals of revealing. When the mortal pangs hit, cling to the earth. It is your mother and your master. I'd like to start off by saying Pistis Sophia. Welcome to the organic light, the source and setting of life, in which we are in motion with. The weather behaves. I see that many things are strange, and they appear to be channeling a sort of vril or energy. The thing is, it doesn't matter. Well, it shouldn't what is said. But let's say, for instance, maybe the world revolves around a currency, and that currency is poetry. Now, that being said, all gods are poetry. Science is a building of the will for a complex and greater poetry. Well, it is stable in itself, a being which is alive in every aspect and manner adherent to life and the principles of life. Therefore, God is alive, and we are alive with it. There is no such thing of outer heaven. That is to say that there is the false impression of heaven consistent without matter itself. Matter is the mother of all creation. These words hold great currency. And when you saw that matter is the currency of life, the phenomenon, the formation, the occurrence, the setting, now ask yourself, where did you get the idea of another world where there is more, better matter? Where did you get this idea? It's so strange. Yet there is some poetry to say that I cannot escape matter. I cannot go past it. I cannot run through it. Why, running through it would be like running through a thorn. Because that's what it is anyway. So, we're tangled in a cadre, or a cobweb, of information which is false, an impression that builds a structure, and the structure is fermented by a living, knowing formation of animal, which derives its power from a myth of ideas. The myth formulates a habitat. The poetry forms a habitat of the animal's existence. As you know, there are diverse animals, humans, who live in every place on Earth. They manifest their own poetry. Now, poison is only potent. See? Its only potency is a poison. The quantity, the potency, and all things are poison. You see, how do we untangle the words before us in the greatest speaking manner that we can, to be the greatest conduits for ourselves? And why? What do we speak against? What do we speak against? How hard could it have been to come up with the Bible itself? How hard could it have been? When